Hey, what's going on? Well, before you see the gig log that you're getting ready to see, I thought it'd be kind of nice to just talk to you for a second. Outside today, it's a beautiful day here in Florida. It's about 90 degrees, so typical summertime weather for us, but it's actually late afternoon now. It's about 4:15, so it's actually starting to cool off a little bit. But you know what? I thought we'd get out of the Oval Office for a little bit and let you enjoy some scenery in my backyard. How's that? Okay, now the gig log that you're getting ready to see actually took place in 2008. I was just going through some of my old gig logs and decided to post an old one, and it was actually originally in two parts, and I went ahead and spliced it together into one video. And I'll tell you one thing about this particular gig log. Okay, you're going to notice that the quality on it isn't as good as my other videos, or maybe perhaps as this video that you're looking at right now. And the reason for that is because I had just started doing gig logs. This is like my second or third one I think I'd even done. And at that time I was using the old discs that you put in. It was still the same camera, but it was the discs instead of the memory cards. And so the quality wasn't really all that good. So, you know, that's why it's going to look a little bit grainy. And, you know, later on I finally learned how to use the memory cards and the quality just improved. But anyway, it was still a good gig log, and I wanted you to be able to take a look at it and look back at it. Now, the actual gig log was a Disney Fairytale wedding that took place at the Mustin Beach Officers Club at Pensacola NAS. That's Pensacola Naval Air Station. And I've done plenty of weddings there, and actually I've done plenty of gig logs there since then, since 2008, so the venue will look familiar to you, but this was the first gig log that I have ever done there. Now, one thing you'll notice is this was before I had my LED lights. You'll see 3 tripods set up behind the DJ table on the stage, and these were the old halogen lights that I used to have and used them for a long time, but this is about 3 months before I actually started using LED lights, so you'll get a chance to notice that. And I also get some footage of me emceeing too, and that's pretty neat. I like to look back at some of these gig logs and see how much I've improved, and I know you probably like to do that with some of your gig logs. So anyway, again, this was back in October of 2008. It's a Disney Fairytale wedding, and that was the theme of it. The bride was really into Disney princesses and things like that. So anyway, I'm not going to talk anymore. We're going to go back to 2008 and let you check out this gig log, and then I'll be back to talk to you from the backyard as soon as it's over with. Well, it's another Saturday. Of course, that means in the life of a mobile DJ, of course, that means work. And headed to Pensacola Naval Air Station today for a wedding. And this is going to be a Disney-themed wedding. And I met the bride back in April, I guess it was. And we've been playing this thing out for a while, so it's going to be a Disney Fairytale wedding. I've never done anything like that before, so this is going to be kind of new. But, you know, whenever you do weddings, you never know what's going to happen. I mean, the bride and groom will request a bunch of different things, and you just never know really what to expect sometimes when you go to weddings. But this is a real nice bride and groom, and I think that this wedding is really going to be a great event today. And of course, it's in a real nice location. It's the Officers Club out on the Navy base, and I've done a lot of weddings out there before, so it's a really neat place. And we'll see when we get there. All right, we're at the Mustin Beach Officers Club here aboard NAS Pensacola. If I'm not mistaken, I think John McCain may have done some events here when he was in the Navy, because he was actually stationed right here at Pensacola NAS, but we're right here on base. Really, really nice facility. I don't know how old it is, but it's got a really nice area inside, so looking forward to getting in there. And I'm going to go on and get set up, and we'll... Alright, here's my setup tonight. Don't have both derbies up tonight. The other derbies won't move in sync with the music, so we got just that one derby there, but it puts out a lot of power. And then the roto. And of course the park hands here on both sides. So it's really good, nice setup up here because I don't have to worry about people tripping over everything. So anyway, got both computers up running PC DJ, and we'll be good to go here. People are already starting to come in. So this is a nice big room. And it's one of my favorite facilities to Alright, I guess you would never guess what team the groom's for. Check that out. That's neat. I've never seen a cake quite like that. Definitely a Florida State thing. There's their wedding cake there. Everything's set up. Looks good. Looks well. Nice big room in here. Alright, in the tuxedo tonight, dressed up for this wedding. And come to find out that there's like, I think 3 other weddings happening here. There are about 4 other rooms here, and this is the big ballroom, so this is the main room. And I've done a lot of weddings in here, and it's pretty neat. If you watch one of my other videos where I was telling you about the bride and groom coming out to kickstart my heart, well, that was right here. And the bride and groom came out from this area here, came out here on the stage, and I played Kickstart My Heart as they came down and had the lights going and everything else. It was a pretty awesome sight. It was back about 6 months ago. pretty awesome wedding for that. All right, it's about almost 6 o'clock now. We got started the reception about 5. We're just having beginning dinner. So yeah, everybody's getting in line. This is what I get to see all that. Really big room, big nice room. Did the wedding party introduction just a few minutes ago, and the bride and groom came down from that stairwell over there. And I've done weddings before in this particular building where the groom would come in from over there, and then the bride would come in from that side, and they would meet in the middle. I've done that, had people do that before. So got some chicken salad sandwiches, egg rolls. They had some turkey and some roast beef and other things. Yeah, that's pretty good. You eat well when you do weddings, that's for sure. That's the life of the DJ. We never go hungry. We're getting ready to get some things started here in just a little bit. Dinner's just concluding, and getting ready to do some toast here in just a minute. And then we'll be moving on to the cake cutting. So getting ready to get some things started here in just a little bit. Ladies and gentlemen, we have your attention, please. Now, have your attention, please. Boy, wasn't that great? Let's give a round of applause for the wonderful people who did that earlier. That was great. I've done plenty of weddings here at the Western Beach Officers Club and never had a bad meal ever, so they definitely do a good job here, that's for sure. All right, ladies and gentlemen, at this time, I'd like to go ahead and call up Mr. Tommy McGraw and Miss Ashley Flowers. I'd like to praise the All right, ladies and gentlemen, at this time, David and Alex would like for everybody to join them by the cake. So we're ready to do cake cutting. Yeah, that's always the fun part. And David, I gotta say, I love your FSU cake, by the way. That is all the name. I'll assume you got some football fans in the house. Okay, they're doing the cake cutting right now. Well, I had a little problem arise, and I'm sure you probably had this happen before. My cordless mic went out. I think the battery died while the maid of honor and the best man were giving a toast. So anyway, always nice to have your corded mic there ready to go just in case, but I've switched out the battery. My cordless mic's working good now. So anyway, a little lesson there for you new guys. Always make sure you have a corded mic and a backup microphone. It really came in handy. I normally don't get to see. I've had a good time. Go up there. You're in the South End, for sure. Yeah, we definitely tell we're down in the South now. Things down. We were told we had to go ahead and get out of here, so apparently the room was only rented till 8:30. It's now almost 9, but it was up to me. We'd have gone for a little bit longer, but you know, rules are rules. So anyway, the place is kind of clearing out right now. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that little trip back in time to 2008. I'll tell you what, I've changed a lot since then, haven't I? Yeah, grown a goatee, and you know, I think my emceeing has changed just a little bit. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. Now, I did want to do a final wrap here from the backyard, because I know I did a small final wrap while I was driving at the end of that gig, but I think the space on the disc ran out, so I didn't get to finish what I was saying. But I think the very next night I did a longer final wrap from my old office in my townhouse. I decided not to add that one here at the end of the video because it was like almost 10 minutes long. I didn't think you wanted to hear me talk for like 10 minutes, so I thought I would just do another final wrap from 2014 and just basically just summarize a few things about that particular wedding gig log that you saw. First of all, you heard me mention that in the final wrap there when I was driving that we had to be out of there at a certain time. Well, here's what happened with that. The catering manager came up to me about 15 minutes after we'd started the open dancing and said, okay, we got to shut the music down in 5 minutes. They've only got this place rented for 4 hours. And actually my contract, I think, said I was supposed to play till like 10 o'clock or something like that. And this was like right before 8:30. I'm like, well, okay, I didn't quite understand that. And anyway, what had happened is the day had started the clock when the first guest walked in. That was the ruling, or the rules, I think, at the particular time of that venue. And a guest had walked in right before the ceremony, so the catering manager went ahead and started the clock at that time for the bride and groom and counted it from 4 hours at that time. I think they walked in at 4:30 when guests weren't even supposed to come in until like 5:30 or something like that. But they had one guest that walked in right before the ceremony began, and they went ahead and counted that from from their 4 hours starting at 4:30. So that's why we had to end things at 8:30. And of course the bride and groom weren't really happy about that because we'd only gotten in like maybe 15-20 minutes of dancing and things like that. So it was kind of a bummer as far as that goes. But now here's a lesson that I learned from that particular gig log. And the lesson is that our contract is with the bride and groom. Our contract is not with the venue manager, catering manager, or anybody else. Now, when she came up to me and told me that we had to have things shut off within about 5 minutes or whatever, this is what I told her. I was real nice about it. I said, look, my contract is with the bride and groom, so you really need to take that up with them, okay? My contract states that I'm to play until 10 p.m. or until the bride and groom tell me that they're ready to leave. So you go work that out with them and then have them come tell me, when they want to shut down. But that's something you got to work out with them. So that's that's why you got to look at it. You got to do what whoever signed your contract says that you need to do. And anyway, she went and talked to the bride and groom and explained that to them, and they finally said, okay, go ahead and shut it down. But I saw the bride's mother a couple weeks later at another wedding, and she was telling me that that they told her that they couldn't stay there that late. They couldn't have weddings there past 9 o'clock at night, which I had done weddings there before that had gone all the way up to midnight, and I've done weddings since have gone all the way up to midnight. And anyway, I don't know what really happened with that, but the bride's mother said that she was going to be talking to somebody about that because she felt that they shut everything down a little early. But now a couple of years later, I saw that particular bride and groom at another wedding. They were guests at another wedding that I did, and they came up to me and said, what, we're just still so happy about how you handled our wedding. You kept everybody up to date on what was going to be happening, and you announced when things were going to happen. Our guests knew what was going to happen, and they were just telling me how happy they were and things like that. So I was really happy about that. And like I said, I really hated it that the catering manager told them that they had to shut down early like that. But again, just remember, if something like that happens, you need to tell the catering manager or whoever, whoever's trying to shut you down or whatever, tell them that that's between them and the bride and groom, that your contract is with the bride and groom, and what they need to do is they need to go talk to the bride and groom, and then in turn the bride and groom need to come talk to you and tell you to shut down. So that was the lesson I learned at that particular wedding, and I've had a few instances like that happen since then, and I've always handled it the same way. Just be professional about it, but just remember that your contract is with the bride and groom, with the client, not with the wedding coordinator, not with the catering manager or anyone else. So anyway, that's just a little lesson there from that particular gig log. So I hope you enjoyed that. We'll have new gig logs coming up real soon, so keep it here on my YouTube channel, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Practice and enjoy.